Okay, here we go. Last part, I hope. Last time we added some text for navigation, and we'll make those links this time. But before we do that, I need to do a little housekeeping over here. If we haven't saved this page yet, File, Save It, give it a name, Index HTML. If you have saved it and you've saved it as anything other than Index HTML, I'm looking over here in Files. I called mine 01. So let's just change the name of this and then hit return, and now that's our home page. Also up here in the title, let's get started. Let's get rid of that and call it home, just so we know. Now that's what's going to show up at the very top of the web browser, the title of the page. Also when the user makes a bookmark, that's what it's going to be called. So we want something more specific, Brian's home page, or Brian's website, blah blah blah. But for right now, we're just going to call it home and hit return. Okay. Now we can get to the linking thing. So here we go with the linking thing. I'm going to say home. I'm going to select the word home right here, and then I'm going to go down to the properties panel, make sure it's on HTML and not CSS, and then I'm going to go to link right here. And there's a couple of ways I can link this up to here. In this case, I have something over here in the Files section. So I'm going to take this little target guy. I don't know if you can see that. It's not going to zoom in with that keyboard. There we go. That little target guy down there. And I'm going to just click and drag it onto this and then let go. And it types in index HTML for me. So also you can see over here that our our paragraph tag, got a new link tag that says index HTML. So now it knows what page to go to. Now we'll go down to about. I don't have anything over here in my list yet. I'm going to make my about page someday, but I can also go down here and just type about. Make sure that you name it the same way as you're going to name the page. Oops. Oh, I'm doing it again. I have two keyboards and I keep typing on the wrong one. HTML, just like that. And I'm going to hit return, and you can see that my code changed to reflect that. Okay? And contact, I'm going to do the same thing for contact. Alright, and then enter. Okay, everything looks good. Now I want to write code for these to make them links. And the links for these kind of the selector for this kind of link is called a pseudo selector. It has some states, like when you go to a website and you see a link and you roll over it, it changes color, or it changes the background, or it glows, or it jumps up and down. It does something so that you know that it's a link. That's an active link. So that state is called hover. The state before that, before you roll over it, is called link. There's an active state, which means when I'm pushing the button down, it may do something different than when I just hover over it. And another state is called visited, which means if I go to the page that link led me to, and then I come back to the page, I might have a different color there, so I can tell the user, oh, you've already been on that page. In this case, I'm going to make the link and the visited look the same, because I don't want it to change when they come back. And the other thing I'm going to do is also make the active and the hover state look the same, because I don't want any change when the user pushes the mouse button down. So here's how we do this. I am going to, and this is one way to do it. There's several ways to do this, but this is one way. I'm going to click over my CSS rules here. I'm going to make sure that I have something here selected, so I get all the way down here to the A in my tag selector. Alright, new rule time. Now the rule is still a little too specific for me. I don't need the word container, but I do want nav, P, and A. I'm going to zoom in here and see how this works. I don't know if this will work in my video or not, so maybe not. I'm going to type. I'm going to leave nav, P, and A, and then I'm going to type colon link. Okay, now that will affect the link state of my rollover. Now I'm going to add a comma and type the same thing again, nav space P space A and colon, but this time I'm going to say visited. Okay, that's my rule. If you leave out the comma, if the spaces aren't right, if you type something wrong, this won't work. So be very careful when you do this. And I'm going to say OK. Now for this rule, I am going to change the type to Verdana and its family. So you can see that change. On the text decoration section, I'm going to say none. I don't want that underline under there. For the color of my type, I'm going to change that later so that you can actually see it, because I'm going to change the background color. Yes, type has a background, oddly enough, to a darker color of this. So my background color, if I come out here, is going to be just a darker color. See how I hit that little thing there to get this weird little palette up? And that's going to apply. Now you can see that in the background. I want this, let's see, we'll go to box now. And I want to make the width of this box 100. Okay, and I'm going to apply that, but nothing really happens yet. Now, float it left and see if that makes something change. That made something change. Okay, the next thing I want to do here is I want to add some margin to split those out a little bit. So I'm going to say, not same for all, but just margin at the bottom. Let's add 4, let's say down there, and see how that looks. See how it leaves a little space now between, and I may even go up to be as generous as to add 6 here, okay? And lastly, I need a little space around the top and the bottom of the text, so I'm going to add some padding. Remember, padding is on the inside of the box, and margins are on the outside. So top only, let's add 3 pixels, and bottom 3 pixels. So make sure same for all is checked, and that'll make those lines a little bit fatter for me. Okay, and lastly, under block, under the block category, my text alignment, I'm going to set that to center, and that should put the text about in the middle right here. Now my purpley dark colored text is not working so well, so I'm going to change my text color to white. Alright, that's what I wanted to see. And then I'm going to say OK. So now I have my links, but they have no animation. There's no rollover. Okay. So now I want to create a different state, or 2 more states. Now we have the link state and the visited state taken care of. Now I need the hover state and the active state. And instead of doing all of this again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to right click or control click, and I get duplicate. I'll click on duplicate. It says you can't have 2 of the same rule, so I'm going to change these right here. I'm going to change visited to active. And I'm going to change link, if I can get it here, with my big cursor, to hover. Okay, make sure you don't delete the anything. Make sure everything's still in there or this won't work. Okay, then I'm going to say OK. And now I need to edit that rule. So the hover active rule, I'm going to double click on it. And I'm just going to have it change the background color to yet a darker version of that same color. And I will say OK to that. And that's all I want it to do. So OK. Now I don't see anything happening because I'm not in live view. So I'm going to check live view here and then roll over these things, and now I can see that that's working for me. Okay? So everything on this page is working, and now I want to split my pages out. Right now I have all my CSS inside of the same document that my HTML is. At the top of it, all of this is CSS up here. All this stuff. And then down here I have my body. So what I want to do is because if I have to change something, I don't want to change it on all three of the pages that I'm going to make now, my home, about, and contact page. I want to be able to change it in the CSS rules and have it affect all three of them. If I leave the CSS rules inside of this document, then I will have to go and effectively change each one of those documents if I need to change something. Let's say the way that the links work. If it's outside, I can change it just in my external CSS style sheet and it affects all the pages. So times 3 pages, not such a big deal. Times 50 pages, that's a day's worth of work. So we are going to move our rules from this with the brackets and where it says style. That means it's on the page itself. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to select each of these, just like that. I shift selected them, and then I'm going to right click or control click, and I'm going to say move CSS rules. And I get this dialog. I'm going to say a new rule sheet and say OK. It's going to go in my web design movie one. That's the folder that I created for this. Anyway, I'm going to call it, let's see, Brian, no capitals, .css. Okay. And then I'm going to say OK, save it. And now it shows up over here. There's my CSS. If I double click on it, well, I don't have to double click on it, it's right there. Source code's here, CSS is here now. Split it away. Over here it gives a reference. It says that my link is to the CSS page. So instead of having all the styles in between style here, now we have a reference that says go look at this external style sheet and everything will be great. Okay, now I'm going to do one of those save alls. Save alls. Now index. I'm going to go over the index page just like that, and Command D will make a new page, and I'm going to hit it twice. So I have 2 more pages. So right now I have this copy 2, which is going to be called about. This copy, which I'm going to call contact. Okay, so now I have 3 HTML pages. Index, which is the one that I have open now, contact, which I'm opening, and about, which I'm opening now. Alright, now what I need to do, what I want to do, is I want to make sure that I can tell the difference between these pages. I can tell up here that this is index, so that's the home page, and that's good. Here, under contact, I'm going to change this text to contact. Then I'm going to go to about, and I'm going to change this text to about, just so I can tell where I am. I'm also going to change the title while I'm here. Hit return after I do that. And this contact. And hit return. Now I'm going to do a save all. Save all. Okay. It won't work. The links won't take me to the page that I want to go to inside of this, even if I go to live view. So I really need to test this in a web browser. So to do that, I have saved all. I am going to go to File, Preview in Browser, and I can pick one of the browsers I have loaded into in here. I'm going to use Firefox right now. See how that works. And there's my web page, and I am on the contact. So if I hit home, about, and back to contact. See how that works? Okay, that's what you should have. You can also see at the top of the page up here that this changes when I'm on the home page. It says home, about, it says about, and then contact. Okay, that's it.